Hi everyone, welcome to another Disney Infinity tutorial. Hope you're all safe and well. This is the final stage of how we built our Mandalorian Toy Box level, and in this level we're going to show you how we do the final bit, which is by rescuing Baby Yoda from the prison cells. Now for this clip I thought I'd use Baymax because I thought Baymax was a really good representation of IG-88 that was used in the TV show. Now I know IG-88 looks nothing like Baymax, but they're both robots. They both have, in the TV show anyway, IG-88 is very much a caring robot and a protector, which is what Baymax is. They both have that same spongy sound. Don't you think that the springy, spongy sound that they have, it sounds just like IG-88. So I thought it was a good clip to end on, because in the various clips I've shown you how to build this toy box level, we have covered like the entire cast of the show and maybe even season 2 with the use of Ahsoka. So, as I say, at the end of this little intro, we will go through the last stages of the logic, and that's getting the Baby Yodas to appear in the prison cells. Once we finish the battle, getting Baby Yodas to appear when they've escaped, and then getting them on their escape ships. So we'll just show a bit of gameplay here, and the big battle against the Imperial dropships, which we showed in our last clip. And we have our Mandalorians backing us up as well. I have to say, Baymax has a bit of a spongy punch as well, doesn't he? He's not what you call too tough, but I do like his rocket launcher. And I don't normally play with this character that much, but actually it was a lot of fun, so I quite liked it. I did like the sound that he makes, so it's quite cool. So if you recall from the previous clips we've shown in this level, the enhanced version means we have to destroy 20 of these stormtroopers and Imperial guards, and you'll see there the counter going up to 19, and when it reaches its target we get a little message, prepare your defences, and what we have to do is set these bombs. And now we can see the ship blow up a little bit more detail now because we've got Baymax and he can fly, which makes our life a little bit easier. Now I've got to get out of here and we'll have the ship blow up in a different view, so nice different angle of this. Boom. And when that ship's blown up, the guards won't regenerate, so once they finish we're free. But when that ship blows up, the Baby Yoda now reappears. It's now free from the prison cell. You can see Baby Yoda sat there. So what we need to do is we need to make sure we kill those remaining guards quickly before they kill Yoda, because they can kill him, and once he's gone he's dead. And another little cool thing I liked with Baymax is that when you pick up any character, it will start to heal them. And again, I thought that was a really good use of you doing that. I didn't realise he did this because Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian does have that ability, like they do in the The Rise of Skywalker. But anyway, if you look here, the ship has landed, the little terminal is activated, and while that ship is there, you can put Baby Yoda inside there and you've done your job. When the ship takes off, the terminal is deactivated, so you can't get rid of the Yoda, you can't load him onto the ship, which is a bit of a shame. So you have to wait for the time level. Now we did it on the original one, which did the full playthrough a few weeks ago, and we've changed it since then because you could just run straight through the battle and drop them off. So we've now changed it that you have to do the battle and you have to finish off. So this is the second part we're going to show you in this clip today, is how we get this little unit to work when the ships land. It activates those items so we can do Baby Yoda. There is one more thing we're going to show you, and what happens when you get killed within the level, because you only get one life. You can't respawn again and again. So that's the second thing I'm going to show you, and now I'm going to show you what happens when you get killed. So sadly, Baymax is after going to get executed. Sorry guys, very emotional. But poor Baymax has stood here and going to make a final stand. But if you play this on a harder level, if you die, you then get put into a prison cell and the game is complete. So I'm going to show you how you can use that, which means your game only has one life. And here you go, you've died, you can't move, and that's it, over. And when you finish, it says the game's complete. And I'm going to show you all that logic now today in this particular clip. Okay, so let's go back to what we did previously. And this is where we were left off on the last set of clips, where we had these three terminals. Okay, and these three terminals, and you can see my memory is very well up to the max here. These little three logic gates are linked to those computer terminals. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create 3 friend generators to create the sleeping Yodas, and another 3 friend generators to do the Yodas that when we escape. Okay, that's the plan of it. So we're just going to do a locator here, and those locators are going to be positioned inside the cell. So for each of those locators, we're going to link those to those friend generators. Yeah, and we're also going to have the other 3 locators for when the Yodas escape. So let's connect those up. So go new locator connection, and we'll collect these 3 up. Now, if you've watched the clips over the previous few days, we've now created all this logic, so we're now mirroring exactly what you're seeing here. Yeah, and like I say, we've done the logic already previously regarding those X's and the I's as the little symbols for our different terminals. Okay, so we've linked all those locators to that particular item. Now, what we're also going to do is we're going to change the property of the friend generator. We don't want them running around, so we're going to change the behavior to them, and we're going to make them sleep. That has them lying down in the cell, not doing anything. I didn't want to try and confuse and overload the system that running around. By putting that out, that keeps them static, and again, that does free up the memory and the computer having to worry about moving them about. Now, obviously, on the other set, when they come out, they are running around, so we don't have that set at all. We leave that as it is. Properties. Now, the question here is, when do we get those Yodas to appear? Because those Yodas appear as soon as we have the key from the communication tower. Once we've blown up the communication tower, that's when I want these Baby Yodas to appear. Okay, so what you'll see here is it's not from when triggering the actual gate. Okay, it doesn't come from that part. Okay, which is why I've lined them in this particular section. But they actually come from the comms tower. So once we've gone through the first part of the clip, which I showed you last week, you blow up the guards, and this here is the section where we blow up the ship. Yeah, so this logic by the side of it here is that once you kill the officer, you open up the door, and this section will blows up the comms tower. And again, I've covered all that logic previously, but what we're going to use from here is, well, if this is blowing up the comms tower, what we can do here is when that timer goes off, when the delay is complete, can we generate our Baby Yodas? And our Baby Yodas, I believe, are in the Twilight Republic. Twilight the Republic, is it? Yeah, Twilight the Republic. In there, you will have the Yoda costume, it's called. And that's going to generate the first box. Yeah. So when the delay is complete, can we create these Baby Yodas that will appear where these locators are? So that's, if you recall back from the other clips, we've destroyed the comms tower. Now we've got to go and rescue the Baby Yoda. So when it blows up, that means you now will see the Baby Yodas to appear. So new launch connection, on delay complete. And we just in there, okay, can we have it generate wherever we are? Come on, Twilight the Republic. Cool. And we want the Yoda costume. Perfect. Okay, so they are now our Baby Yodas all sleep in their prison cells. All we need to do now is move these locators to the center of those prison cells. So what we do is we're going to pick these up and move them into the cell. Now obviously they sit there asleep, and the only time when they become activated is when we hit that terminal. So when we go into here, we hit that terminal, and that sends all the ships to come through. But what I found out was the Baby Yoda overloads everything on the screen. So that logic gate there is linked to when you hack the system. So what we're going to do is new logic connection on output. Yeah, so that means we've hacked the computer. Can we clear the Baby Yoda? Now what I told my daughter with this, she said, why has the Baby Yoda disappeared? I said, and like he does this quite a lot in the TV show, he runs away. He does a it disappears. So the Baby Yoda really is only used to hint the user that's where you got to go. You press the terminal, it triggers off the battle, so removes the Baby Yoda from sight, so it frees the memory up. So we get it going that he's just disappeared, but you're too busy distracted with the battle, and when the battle is over, all the ship's blown up, we're going to get the Baby Yoda to reappear. So again, this was the second gate, so let's go back. I got a little bit lost. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's over here. So this case, when we've hacked this one, and when we remove it out of memory, we just do a removal. So to clear it, it's a removal. So in this case, can we now remove all this item? So any Baby Yodas that are in there will now disappear and frees up that memory. Because we are really on the level with this one. Now, and I'll go through this when I do a full playthrough of the new version. While I'm here, I might as well put this other logic in. But when I go through a new version, you don't have to have 3 Baby Yodas. You could just do one panel, and that would free up a lot of my memory. I like to make my life a little bit difficult. Don't want to make it too easy for myself. Right, let's position the last Yoda. Because in the TV show, there is only one Yoda that he's trying to save. Okay, but he's not referred to as Baby Yoda. Although, if they bring Ahsoka into it, she might refer to as Baby Yoda, because at the moment it's not officially the Star Wars terminology, but you never know, it might get to happen. Right, so these here are the 3 Yodas that we want to reappear once we've blown up the ships. Okay, they're the locators that we're going to use. So the question is, remember the location of the ships, and these is our logic for each of the 3 ships that we've built. Right, and this logic here is when we blow up the special effects generator that blows up the ship. So we know when this ship blows up, then that Yoda complete. So we say when that complete, can we go to the first one and can we generate a Baby Yoda to appear? So in this case, we go down to Twilight the Republic, and because we've laid out our stuff so clearly, we choose our Baby Yoda costume, we can follow and trace back which step we've done. So that's ship 1. This is ship 2. So again, looking for our logic for the explosion part, which we covered in the previous clips. When that explosion goes off, can we set off Yoda 2? So where we go. Why aren't all the Star Wars together? Oh well. Okay, and then the last ship 1, ship 2, and ship 3. And like I say, if you recreate this with just one ship, one Baby Yoda, it'll make your life a lot easier to do it. Okay, we'll go through Twilight Republic and the Yoda one. Okay. So all you've got to do now is position these locators in the right position, yeah, outside the case. Now you'll see here the properties here, we haven't got any of these switched on, so I'm just showing you there are no standing still, disappear, they are left to roam and do whatever they like. But what we do need to do is change the team, right? And the reason for that is otherwise Baby Yoda will attack us because we're going to be for the blue team. So we need to change that for these 3 Baby Yodas. So can we change the team of these to be blue, so then he will have a lightsaber and he will help defend us. Although he is pretty useless, I find he gets killed quite quickly. So you need to make sure you rescue him quite quick. Now in your version of the game, you could tweak this. You just have the one ship, but once you've captured him out, you've only got like 20 seconds to get him to a ship. Otherwise, you've got to go through the whole battle again. Right, so let's position these locators. And again, remember which one goes with which. So this is ship 1, so we're going to move this locator now. Have I linked these all to these? I haven't done, I can't believe I haven't done that one. Look at that, new locator connection. Nearly forgot doing that. Almost as bad as not connecting the dolls. Right. Okay, so let's grab hold of this and let's move this. Now the question here is when we can set these up, yeah, you have to position this at the side, and you'll see here I'm putting it nicely outside the prison cell, which is great. If you put that too close to the cell, what I found in one of my test runs, that the Baby Yoda appeared, but he reappeared back inside the prison cell, and because you can't unlock it because I don't use the key, it was a bit pointless. So just have it a little bit further back here. So you'll see here there's quite a little gap. Don't do it right bang up to the side of it. So that one there will be too close. Make sure there is a gap between the two. So in your test run, if you find Baby Yoda's in there, you need to bring him further away. And the third, this is the one that caused me most of my problem when I did the test. So I think this one is wrong. Let's have a look. Let's see how close I put this one in. Right, let's go to the last one. Right, that was too close. Yeah, just one square away. He actually appeared inside the cell. Yeah, I actually moved that a little further back. So that is stage 1 on getting our Baby Yodas out of the prison cells. The only thing we need to add to this now is what happens that if you get killed during that battle. We need to reset those logics. So we're just going to get a logic gate. I'm just going to place this in the middle. Okay, so when you restart the level, if there are any Baby Yodas already out, we need to get rid of them. So this logic gate here is to clear them out of your memory. So new logic connection, on output, can you remove any that exist? Now we've already done that if you switch the thing on, so that's not a problem, but we don't know if you get killed at the first stage or second stage, you didn't get pressed the comms tower. So just to make sure, I did it for all 6 of them. Let's clear them out. So this is nothing to stop the logic from working. This is just in case you get killed. And because we've got it, you've only got 1 life, we then need to restart the level, so we need to reset them and get rid of the Baby Yodas. Otherwise, again, there'll be too much existing logic in there and it'll overload it. So I'm just going to set these all to removal. And you'll know it doesn't take that particularly long. Okay. We'll put this through. One more to go, and that's that done. So all we need to do is what we've set up previously in the other clips is a reset button. Yeah, and all I've got to do is link it to this one logic gate that will clear the memory out and wipe that clear. So once we've got this to remove all, we'll just go back to our reset logic gate, which is this one over here. This is the logic gate we use. That one resets everything. So new logic connection, on output. If we input into there, our Baby Yodas are completely cleared, ready for the next attempt to try and save them. Okay, that will resolve that little issue. Right, so we're going to do stage 2 now, which is where we use our sidekick or wall door. I think that's a technical term. We need to go to our gameplay toys and we look at one of these. And I've used in the Guardian of the Galaxy one, which is quite good. Now, because it's Guardian of the Galaxy, which is in the second set, you should be able to unlock this in the store straight away by looking under previous playsets. That was the one weakness with this game. They should have had, each version should have allowed you to use the old playsets within the same game. A lot of people complained about that, and version 4 looked like it was going to do that until they switched the flipping thing on. But that's for another day. Right, so we've got 3 hangars, so I need 3 doors. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we need to activate these doors, and we need to keep a count of how many we've actually rescued, because the whole object here is to rescue 3 Baby Yoda. So this counter is going to be linked to all 3 doors. Okay, and we're going to set the properties of this. So we go to the property setting, and we're going to change that target count to be 3. Okay, that lets us know we've done our target, we've done 3 on the screen. Now, in a moment, you're going to see some logic gates appear. Ignore the logic gates, they mean nothing. That was a previous one, so we'll ignore that. So what we're going to say is, you've got various different settings on here. So when town people are thrown in, yeah, what do we want to do? We want to increase the counter. Right, just increment it by 1. Simple as that. So this one here, new logic connection. When town person thrown in, can we increase that by 1? And that'll keep a track that we've done our 3 jobs. And once we hit 3, we have successfully done the mission. The new logic connection. When town person thrown in, okay, can we increase that by 1? Perfect. Okay, so that now counts all those 3 little gates there on the screen. So what we need to do now is change the properties of each of these little doors. And what we're going to do is that when we throw a town person in there, which happens to be a Baby Yoda, we want them to disappear, because if not, within 5 seconds they get chucked back out. So what we're saying is, when chuck them in, please remove the town person. So we need to switch that on for all 3 doors, because we don't want Baby Yoda coming back out. And because if Baby Yoda comes out, we can keep chucking him in, and the game's over on the first one. So as soon as you throw the one Baby Yoda, remove that particular object. So just switch those on for all of those 3 doors. And we'll then do the first door, which is the hangar directly behind. Is how do we make the door switch on and switch off? That's the key thing. How do I get this to be activated? Okay, so this door here is sat. How do we know when does it work? And it all depends on how these ships go up and down, which is one of the very first clips we did a couple of weeks ago. The ship will fly down here and move very slowly across. So what we can do here is just when it jumps down, so when the ship comes back, we can say, right, when it comes to that point there on the path, so new electrical connection, when point reached on path, that's the first ship, yeah? When it gets to that point, it jumps the path below, but at the same time, can we turn on this particular door? Can you make the door activated? The door now is now switched on, it's now lit up, it shines up on the screen. Now on the bottom part of this section of the door, it will move on to the bottom path and then slowly slide across, very, very slowly, so you don't even know. So the point below, then it jumps back up after here. So before it jumps back up, new logic connection, when point reached on path, before it jumps up, can you then deactivate the door? Okay, and that will do it for that one door. So we're going to say, right, deactivate door. That door is now switched off, which is quite cool. Now, sorry for the poor jump there, okay? You'll notice those 3 logic gates have turned up on the screen. Ignore those logic gates. I binned those after the event, and it was the only clip I had, and I wasn't going to go back. So ignore those logic gates, but we now position the door against our side panel, which is where we put that little brick in between the two, which is now linked and activated for those particular items. So what we now need to do is do the exact same for door 2 and for door 3. So I'm going to grab those, and I'm now going to move those away and put this to the other side. So this is for this hanger, and I'm going to set those logic up. Now, as you saw in that clip, there were 3 timers, and I had a different setting I was going to do with that, and I changed my mind, so we've binned those all together. So remember that point there, when it's coming down, when point reached on path, activate the door. The ship then lands on the path below, slides across. When it gets to the first point, it then takes back up again. So on that point at the bottom, so on the bottom there, make sure you grab it. There it is. New logic connection, when point reached on path, can you deactivate the door? And then you'll see very little logic was there, so logic to turn it on and off, and we've got a counter to it, which is brilliant. So new logic connection, let's go move this one before we do the other one, so put this one on the other hanger. And the game's structured that you could use the same hanger on every time, you don't have to use the one hanger, doesn't matter. It just happens to be up close by for each one, but you could have just done one of these and just have one hanger in the centre of the ship. That's where you've got to go and get the Baby Yoda into. So same logic applies here. So I'll go to the bottom one, new logic connection, when point reached on path, can we activate the door? And on the other option at the bottom, new logic connection, can we deactivate the door? And because the ships are always flying from the word go, they will switch themselves on and off accordingly. So by the time you get there, the ship would have taken off, so that's fair enough done. So the only thing we've got there is that little gate there, our counter. Like I say, ignore those 3 timers. Okay. So what we're going to say is new logic connection. When the target is reached, you've got 3. We have successfully completed the game. So we'll go to our little game marker that we did way back last week, and we'll say here, you have completed the game. Yay! And that is stage 2 of our little routine. One last thing is when we start the game, by the way, when we start it, what we can do is, can you reset the counter? So when that game starts, can you just reset that counter? But please ignore those 3 timers. I've stressed that to you now. They're bad mistakes that I got rid of, so we'll leave that alone. Those 3 can go. Right, and the final thing we're going to do, the very last little clip, so it's quite a short clip this one, is what happens if you die? How do you get the 1 life? Okay, so what we're going to use is we're going to use this, which is a checkpoint, which means when you die, you're going to go back to this particular point on the screen. Okay, and that red dot is which end you're facing. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to put this on because there's a few little issues that I come across. But by only having 1 life in the game, it makes your tactics a little bit more careful. You just can't blasé go in and just shoot them away. So you have to be a lot more careful. So it is quite handy to tighten the game up that you die, that's it, it's all over. Okay, we need a trigger area here. Now, I haven't done this on this level. I haven't done a catalyst to automatically start the spaceships going off and doing it, because if I want to change my mind and change it, it means I have to rush to it. So I've created buttons when you load up to trigger it off, and that's all we're going to do on the screen. But what we'll do is on your logic connection, right, when you enter this trigger area, because we expect you to go through the door, yeah, so when the player enters that, any player, what we're going to do here is we're going to set you to that checkpoint. Can you do set checkpoint for all players? So everybody now is going to be linked to that particular option. Okay, now obviously I'm going to hide that checkpoint so you don't see it, but that's what I'm going to do. Right, so the other thing I'm going to go and find is I'm going to go and find the toy origin. There we go. And I want to go to one of the toy boxes, the car racing one, I think it is. And again, you know, I can't remember the flipping order of these things. So where are they? Come on. Sadly, I'm not as organised as the Professor Toy Box, who has them all laid out already done for you. It'll just take me forever. I'm quite impressed how organised his tutorials are. But we have to go through it. You see, I've got completely lost now. There we go. Oh, there's the prison cell I want. There you go. Right. So as you'll see here, we'll go down and we'll place this in our little box in. Sorted. And I'm going to now do it. Now the reason why I did it this way round, if you put the checkpoint first, you won't be able to use it. It now works inside the prison cell. Yeah. If you did it the other way, it wouldn't work. So if I did the checkpoint first and then put the prison cell over the top, not going to happen. But for some reason I can do it the other way, back to forward. So you'll see here you can't have it at the edges, so you've got to put it in the centre of the screen. So what I'm going to do here is you die, you appear in that box. So what I want to do is I need to register that the person's done, because we've got no key, I don't want them stuck in there forever. So what we'll do is we'll have another little trigger area. Okay, and we're just going to place this just very closely at the very front of the gate where the lock is. And what we'll say here is, right, when the player enters this trigger area, right, so when you enter this trigger area, not the start point, so when you enter that, any player, right, enters there, the game is over, it's done. So in this case, can we say the game failed? Now you'll notice I chose game failed there, and as been pointed out by a number of you guys, that I celebrate to say, yes, I'm a complete loser. But I did actually set that to say failed. But yet for some reason he has a little party. Great, I'm in prison, yay. Don't know why, but it just does do that. But I had set the right setting on there. A couple of you pointed out that I'd done that wrong, but I thought I had.
I don't do small talk.
So that is now set up there on the screen. I think the only thing I want to do is make my checkpoint invisible. Yeah, so I don't want them to see it. And that, my friends, is it. The game is finished. Have fun building this. I will do one more clip, which is a full game through of the full version. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.